What would my mornings be without Rockers? You know what? Because of Rockers, it is 45 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock. Welcome back to the No Morning Show here on TTT. I am Natalee Legore, and we're going straight across to San Fernando to check in with the president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, Kiran Singh, to get the response from the chamber to the Prime Minister's address to the nation Thursday night. Good morning to you, Kiran.
Good morning, Natalie. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. And Natalie, I'm wondering your new hairstyle, is it in preparation or anticipation of Carnival 2022?
Definitely. I'm happy you noticed. Definitely. You know, Kiran, I don't know what it is. Every time you're on the program, Raucous and the crew be having a really good time. I think they're always so happy to hear from you.
It certainly be a raucous kind of behavior.
So, Kiran, talk to us. So, what was the Chamber's response to the PM's address to the nation Thursday night?
When we heard the announcement, first of all, that he was going to give an address and all the media would carry it live on Thursday night after the news, we were, of course, extremely worried because we were seeing the rise in infections or mortalities that would it be an announcement of some restrictions or lockdowns of some sort? And we were quite relieved that the Prime Minister didn't resort to anything of that sort, but instead gave quite, if I may say, an impassioned plea, somewhat emotional address to the nation to be responsible and act in a manner to protect ourselves by going and taking the vaccines for those of us who are hesitant, so that we protect ourselves. And especially in light of the latest variant emerging some time ago. And it certainly does not speak well to not only Trinidad and Tobago, but the rest of the world. And I mean, we have seen statistically, scientifically, it has been proven, the Prime Minister even presented some scientific data from countries around the world with vaccination rates, mortalities, and what we'd realize is that when you take the vaccine, it adds a layer of protection to ourselves, our co-workers, our families, even strangers on the streets that we interact with. And This is certainly supports us as a country.
Definitely. So, you know, one of the things we've heard some people saying that, you know, it was a wasted broadcast, that there are a lot of memes going across on social media. What do you think they're missing in the Prime Minister's address? Because for you heard the plea to people to go and get vaccinated. The Prime Minister went as far as to share with us countries, you know, and how they were treating with those who were unvaccinated, having them under lockdown, making vaccines mandatory. What is it that you heard that you think a lot of the population missed?
He gave us two incentives that I think we hope that those who are yet to take the vaccine and waiting to see what happened, what are the reactions from those who took the vaccine, and those two things, those two items, which I consider very important in coming towards the end of his speech, was the reopening of beaches and, well, in tandem with that, be the rivers and so on. If the numbers increase to where it is a more comfortable level so that we can congregate. It's a well-known factor that congregation is what is the spreader for the virus, and that is why we are limited in terms of how many people can meet in a setting, whether it's a church or a temple or a mosque or a room where we can meet. It must be at 50% or 10 and so on, and that is what will keep the infection rates down. And the second item which he spoke to, and I think this is the main item, Trinidad and Tobago is a carnival-loving country. And if we get the numbers right, we can see some type of carnival activity happening in 2022. And I think these two factors we really hope that it will add an impetus to the vaccination drive. And I think people should pay attention to that. The Prime Minister had all choice. He had all the right moves, all the right items on the agenda to create or put another lockdown or increase restrictions. And just coming out of a state of emergency and the curfew, it would certainly improve business, which has been, we all know, depressed for a long time. The economy has been depressed. And the only way to get out of this, to have the economy open, to have our borders open to a certain extent. We saw that the government did restrict some countries from entering our borders, and we expect that that list will grow over time as the variant. We hope it doesn't spread too much, but if it does, that we will see an increase in the countries that will not be allowed to um, citizens from those countries or visitors to enter our borders to protect ourselves from the variant in the next few months, Natalie.
Well, while the Prime Minister spoke of the possible reopening of beaches and a taste of Carnival, what's the Chamber's perspective on the fact that we're having so many positive cases now and even an increase in deaths for the month of November? Isn't that going to the same thing we're trying to do to protect people against the spread? You know, if these things are to come to pass, aren't we going to have that imbalance that we so don't want?
So that is a possibility, unfortunate possibility, Natalie, but it also speaks to the fact that our lifestyles have to improve. We have to be more mindful of hygiene. We have to take care of ourselves. The majority of cases, unfortunately, that succumb to the virus and those who get infected and they remain ill for a prolonged period of time, and the majority of cases are those who are unhealthy, the lifestyle diseases, when we look at the history of the cases. So we need to exercise, eat properly, ensure we have proper diets, and also to take the vaccine. It adds a layer of protection. Of course, it's not a 100% foolproof plan. The vaccine is new, but so is the virus. And we have to do what we have to do to protect ourselves and protect the society. The economy cannot afford another lockdown. We have to find ways to live with this virus. It's here, obviously, and it's not going away anytime soon. We all thought it would disappear. It hasn't. And with this additional variant, it complicates the whole scenario for us. But let's do the honorable, responsible thing. The Prime Minister has pleaded, literally, get the vaccine so that they don't have to take harsher measures in the future because of not taking the vaccine. And because what other choice do we have, Natalie?
Right. So would the chamber support mandatory vaccinations if it gets to that?
Natalie, we really hope it doesn't get to that. We've seen cases around the world where they have made the vaccine mandatory and it had very deleterious effects on the society and how the society responded in situations similar to ours. And we don't, if it has to come to that, then so be it. We will have to abide by the law. But I think that is also one of the main reasons for the Honorable Prime Minister's address to the nation last Tuesday, where he has made a plea to us. I think this is the last ditch effort. And if the numbers don't increase in vaccinations, then if he goes to that and he makes it mandatory, then we will have, of course, support it. But at this time, we are really hoping that the society does the responsible thing and goes out and acts responsibly, takes the vaccine, maintains the social distances, and of course, follow the health protocols. We've seen several charges being laid recently of people not flouting the laws, and we also plead to those, please follow the health regulations and the guidelines. It's for your safety. And it's not to fill the government coffers with money that we so desperately need for ourselves. And we don't have money to give away. Let's act responsibly, and we can certainly see a brighter future for Trinidad and Tobago, and we can see some element of Carnival. I think if nothing else does it, Carnival, the idea of some Carnival activity in 2022 will speak a lot to the uptick in vaccination rates.
So you think that it's definitely going to see that uptick because people like the idea of having some form of carnival?
We want to be optimistic that people will do the right thing. And we all in this together. We've been saying that since the outbreak, and we have to continue to act in that manner where we will see improvement in the vaccination rates and a decline in infection rates and mortalities. November has been a horrendous month for the country, and that should also speak to those of us who are hesitant in the society and not following health protocols to remember. And I think that was what the Prime Minister was trying to do, to remind us that now is not the time to become lax and forget about health protocols because the state of emergency has been removed and the curfew has been removed. And we must, as citizens, protect ourselves from this deadly virus.
Right. But even before the removal of the SOE, we were already seeing an uptick in cases. But I think one thing that possibly came out of the SOE that's positive, well, with the ending of the SOE that's positive, is that the business community has the ability now to open, in such a way, having longer hours that they weren't able to enjoy for the past couple of months. So how has business improved since the removal of the curfew and the SOE?
Well, we are seeing a slight improvement in commercial activity. Of course, it will further increase as we go towards the Christmas season and in the increase in time where the logistics will be put in place in terms of increasing staff, the employment levels will get back to somewhere near the pre-pandemic levels. The economy is not as strong and robust as it was in previous years, but certainly when we look at the last few quarters for the pandemic, we will certainly see an uptick in commercial retail activity, especially in the entertainment sectors, which were hardest hit by the curfew hours. Even the manufacturing sector can operate more fully. The food and beverage sector, we all have later opening hours, operational hours for restaurants, bars, cinemas. And these are the types of businesses that normally flourish in the typical after work day. And we will certainly see an improvement. It's not going to be anything, as we say, in pre-pandemic, but it will be an improvement in business. We will see, and we have to be optimistic. We have to be put our resources in the right directions. People have already taken loans. They have added stock to their inventories. Uh, the restaurants and bars and so on have replenished their stocks in anticipation of the increase in customer traffic to their doors. And we look forward to that. And we have to be cautiously optimistic in looking towards a better Christmas 2021 than we had before, Natalie.
Right. You spoke about, things being slow, just picking up slowly after the ending of the SOE and curfew. Do you think people are still hesitant, to spend their money considering the uncertain times that we're in?
Of course they are. And the disposable incomes have also been reduced because the levels of employment uh, have have fallen unfortunately. And it's due to the pandemic, of course, and also due to the fact that being a global energy player, we are we are faced and traumatized by the shocks that happen in the energy sector worldwide. But what is positive is that in 2022, the international financial agencies have projected and predicted some financial growth um, for Trinidad and Tobago's economy. So that I think now is the time for the private sector to look towards reinvesting added financial resources to their businesses, looking at new opportunities while we in this downtime, so that we can benefit from an improvement in the economy in 2022, and that will increase the employment levels. We can see improvement and increase in business, and that is how the economy will prosper, and the society as a whole will benefit, and we can see an improvement in the standard of living. Um, Although we have rising inflation at the supermarkets, we have creeping food inflation, and that is why we need to work harder to improve our lifestyles, improve our incomes, so that we can deal with the increased cost of living going into 2022.
All right, Kiran, we want to thank you so much for speaking with us this morning and all the best for the Christmas season.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to be on TDT, and To Trinidad and Tobago, be safe and have a great Christmas 2021.
Thank you so much, Kiran Singh, there, president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce. And he's saying, one, get vaccinated. Two, if you want that carnival or that taste of carnival or the beaches to reopen, go out and get vaccinated. All right, we take a break and we come right back with more on the program. Stay with us.